am the white moonlight of the domineering boss, but I have turned evil. You can go on business trips abroad, but you can't come to see me abroad. Can't afford the ticket or can't spare the time. You keep saying that I am your white moonlight, but you find a substitute in the blink of an eye. Your love is so cheap. Don't tell others that you like me in the future. I don't want a dirty man. Don't come to me again in the future. 01 On the plane back to China, I had a dream. In the dream, I was the white moonlight that Ethan could not touch. He was crazy about me, but he felt that he was not worthy of me, so he didn't dare to confess. He watched me go abroad, but he didn't have the courage to come to me. Later, he met a girl who looked like me, and he took advantage of her to make her my substitute, and domineeringly exerted all his fantasies about me on the substitute. He enjoyed her beautiful body, but he also despised her for being a substitute and suppressed her in various ways. The girl experienced misunderstandings, false accusations, miscarriages, beatings, and other things, and finally fled from Ethan with scars on her heart. At this time, Ethan came to his senses and found that he liked the substitute. In turn, he hated me, the white moonlight, and resented my hypocrisy and green tea, which made him misunderstand the substitute again and again. He pulled me off the altar and made my family and people die, as a redemption for the substitute, and successfully asked the beauty to change her mind. After waking up, I fell into deep thought. This is hard to judge. Whoever Ethan likes will be ruined and mentally collapsed. He is poisonous. The mistakes are others, and the career and beauty are his. But why? Therefore, at the welcoming banquet held by everyone for me, I passed by Ethan without looking at him, sat opposite him indifferently, and ignored him. Ethan's eyes were obviously hurt, and his mouth opened and closed, but he didn't say a word after all. Everyone who came today knew that Ethan liked me, and they hurriedly heated up the atmosphere. Ethan still couldn't say a word when he met Sister Joanna. Sister Joanna, do you think he hasn't changed at all? He's still the same as before. Ethan was obviously refreshed, and looked up at me, as if expecting what I would say. I searched through my memory, trying to figure out why he regarded me as his white moonlight. Was it because I played the violin at the music festival and became famous with one song? Or because I defeated him in the debate? Or because I saved him from a leg cramp in the swimming pool? If he really had a good impression of me because of these little things, and regarded me as his white moonlight, that only shows one thing: Ethan admires the strong and has no sympathy for the weak. He would admire those who are stronger than him. He would be cruel to those who are weaker than him. If that's the case, then what he did to me and the substitute in the dream would make sense. After understanding this, my face relaxed and I smiled gently. I haven't seen you for a few years. I have forgotten what Ethan looked like before. Hey, tell me about you. What have you been busy with these years? What are you doing? I turned the topic from Ethan and chatted with everyone. Everyone could see that I was not interested in Ethan. Ethan's hopeful eyes dimmed. Just at this moment, the door rang. A girl stood timidly at the door, her eyes found Ethan accurately, her lips stammered but she didn't speak for a long time. I glanced at her and was amazed. It turned out that this was the stand-in. We really look like twins. So, am I so good looking in everyone's eyes? The girl's hair was slightly curly, and it was natural long hair without perming or dyeing. A pair of eyes were dark and bright, as if black jade was dotted in a clear spring. With a small nose and slightly pouty lips, it must taste good to kiss. Unexpectedly, Ethan's character was not good, but his taste was good. Someone immediately pulled the girl in and sat next to Ethan. Ethan frowned slightly and distanced himself from the girl, as if she was a virus. The girl's eyes were slightly red, but she forced herself to smile appropriately. However, the disdain in everyone's eyes was so clear and understandable. She was like a little sheep that strayed into a wolf pack, and she was trying hard to be friendly. The girl who pulled her in was called Selena, and she had always had a crush on Ethan. She chuckled and shook her glass proudly. Lily, your President Ethan is so good to you, and he even brought you out to see the world. See, Joanna, Sister Joanna, this is the real daughter of a rich family. Hey, look carefully, you two look really similar. President Ethan, you didn't find a substitute based on Sister Joanna's appearance, did you? Everyone saw it clearly. One was genuine, and the other was a high imitation. It was clear who was the substitute. Lily's face was pale, and she was so embarrassed that tears welled up. She tried to open her eyes wide, fearing that tears would fall. Ethan's eyes were a little flustered, and he stared at me closely, as if ready to explain and comfort at any time. Everyone joked and blamed Selena for talking nonsense. Selena smiled and punished herself with 3 cups. It's all my fault. I got drunk without drinking. In the midst of the excitement, I picked up the cup coldly, and my hand loosened, and the cup fell to the ground with a crisp sound of breaking. Everyone was stunned and looked at me. I looked at Ethan and said lightly, Ethan, explain, what does this mean? Ethan was stunned. He probably never thought in his life that the first sentence I said to him after returning to China would be this. He frowned slightly and said sincerely, I'm sorry, Joanna, I'll let her go now. He immediately said to Lily, "Get out. You don't have the right to come here." Lily's face was pale, grabbing her small bag, her thin and slender white fingers, the bones almost squeezed out of the flesh. She was so angry, but she was so well behaved that she didn't dare to refute a word. Me? What's going on? I clearly wanted him to explain clearly. What's wrong with Selena? How dare she ridicule his girlfriend so blatantly? I suspect he has an affair with Selena. Or is he blind? Can't he see that she is blatantly using someone else's knife to kill someone? Lily was about to leave. I said, "Wait. Miss Lily is my guest, no one has the right to drive her away." "Ethan, please explain what your relationship with Miss Lily is, why you want to drive my guest away, and what Selena said about finding a substitute in my image." Lily was stunned. She probably didn't expect that I, a stranger, would stand up for her. I have to say, she looked cute when she was dumbfounded. I nodded to her and motioned her to sit next to me. She thought for a while and came over obediently. Ethan's face was cold, and there was a storm in his deep eyes, which was very lethal to Lily. I could clearly feel that Lily was nervous. But to me, what's the point? I crossed my arms and looked at him leisurely. Seeing that he couldn't get any fart out of his fight, I got a little impatient. I hate the most dominant boss whose mouth is sewn up. I looked at Selena coldly. "You say it, if you can't explain it clearly, our cooperation can end." "How can this be? What does it have to do with me?" Selena screamed. "Yeah, what does it have to do with you? You are the most vocal among the people at this table." I smiled. Selena calmed down, and seeing that Ethan didn't object, she said lazily, "It's just that our little President Ethan couldn't get the white moonlight in his heart, so he secretly found a female college student as a substitute. Now the real owner is back, and little President Ethan hasn't figured out how to deal with the story of this substitute." "Does it mean that the white moonlight is me?" Selena didn't say anything. Ethan's dark eyes looked at me steadily, and finally said that one word, "Yes." "Do you like me?" "Yes." I laughed. I was angry. I picked up a glass of wine on the table and threw it at Ethan. "Is Ethan's family bankrupt? You can go on a business trip abroad, but you can't come to see me abroad. Can't afford the plane ticket or can't spare the time? You keep saying that I am your white moonlight, but you find a substitute in the blink of an eye. Your love is so cheap. Don't tell others that you like me in the future. I don't want a dirty man. Don't come to me again in the future." The wine dripped down his face. He has a good skin. Even in such a mess, he looks quite tempting. He looked gloomy, his eyes were deep, his cheeks were flushed with anger, his fingers were clenched tightly, and he tried his best to control his emotions. It turns out that he would also be embarrassed by being insulted. Ha! I thought he was born without emotions. The rest of the people were stunned, the whole room was silent, and countless people looked at me in amazement. After a few years abroad, we have all changed. I pulled Lily up and strode out of the room. Whatever mess was behind me had nothing to do with me. I sent Lily to school. Lily got out of the car, shivering. I don't know if it was because the wind was too cold or she was too nervous. She probably never thought in her life that a woman would pour wine on Ethan, and she was in a trance in the car. I took off my coat and put it on her, took her phone, unlocked the password with her fingers, and asked her to add me as a friend. "I don't know why you agreed to Ethan's request to be a stand-in, but today I poured wine all over Ethan. He doesn't dare to make trouble for me, and he may be angry at you. If he makes trouble for you, remember to contact me." "Joanna, why are you helping me?" "You misunderstood. I'm not helping you. I would help any girl who appeared in that kind of occasion today. Without my coat, it was too cold, so I got into the car and drove away quickly." The car drove a long way away, and I saw Lily standing there, staring blankly at the direction I left. I went to my own company for an internship. To be honest, I didn't dare to believe it. No matter how powerful Ethan is, it's not so easy to make the Joanna family, which has been standing for decades and has survived economic crises, material crises, commercial price wars and other dangers, go bankrupt all of a sudden. Unless there is a problem with the Joanna family itself, and the Ethan family catches the handle, and then takes the opportunity to nibble away bit by bit. After I entered the company, I took turns in various companies under an assumed name for a period of time, and recorded the problems I found one by one. Then, one afternoon, I entered the company as the eldest daughter of Joanna's family, and solved the problems I found one by one in a swift and decisive manner, firing those who should be fired, promoting those who should be promoted, and punishing those who should be punished. After stabilizing the company, I was able to take time to watch Lily and Ethan. Ethan was deleted by me. I couldn't see anything from Lily's circle of friends. Except for forwarding a few articles from public accounts, there was no personal sharing at all. Instead, Selena called me and gloated, "Joanna, Ethan is getting engaged in a while, did you know? He said he couldn't contact you, so he asked me to invite you to his engagement party." I couldn't help but raise my eyebrows. Interesting. With whom? Lily, who else? If I can't catch up with you, my white moonlight, I can't let her use a substitute to satisfy her desire. Selena, why do you have such a strong hatred towards her? Even if you can't get her, you should destroy her and hate Ethan, instead of targeting Lily to compete for the female. This is very low level. Fuck, are you sick, Joanna? I grew up with you. We have been together for so many years, and you say this to me for a substitute? My head hurts a little. After not seeing each other for a few years, I found that our three views are completely different. I took a deep breath and said calmly, Selena, I went abroad partly because I wanted to study abroad, and partly because I saw that you liked Ethan, so I took the initiative to avoid suspicion. If I compete with you, you can't beat me. Ethan used Lily as a substitute. This is a manifestation of his low quality, lack of character, shamelessness, and vulgarity. He has the arrogant mentality of a capitalist and thinks that he can do whatever he wants with money. If you like this scum, doesn't it lower your quality? It's even more unlucky to be liked by him. What's there to be proud of being favored by a scum? If the world is divided into levels according to money, and people without money are considered to have no dignity, then you, a rich man like me, is a toy without dignity in front of the real powerful. This kind of thinking is seriously wrong. I remember that you were a good girl with a positive outlook in college. I don't know what you have experienced to become like this now, but I can tell you very clearly that if you continue like this, we will no longer be friends. Also, tell Ethan that I will go to the engagement party, but not as his friend, but as Lily's friend, that's it. After hanging up the phone, I breathed a sigh of relief and couldn't help but open WeChat to ask Lily, are you getting engaged? The message dialog box with Lily showed that the other party was typing. However, after a long time, she didn't even fart. Good guy. I finally know why she was abused by Ethan. A boss with deep scheming and used to shirking the blame. A dull person who can't explain. It's a pity that he can explain things clearly. I said simply, let's meet and talk. I'll find you at the gate of your school. Lily hurriedly replied, okay. I raised my eyebrows slightly. Passive personality, right? You are used to being arranged by others, right? Then I will arrange everything for you clearly today. I drove her to have a meal first. She wanted to explain herself, but I interrupted her. Let's talk after dinner. She immediately agreed, ate quietly, and really didn't say another word. After dinner, I took her to see a client again. She didn't object, but followed me obediently, automatically acting as my secretary. Served tea and water, took pens and documents. After I sent the client away, I took her to see my friend. The moment she saw her friend, her gentle and docile face finally cracked a little. And the person who broke before her was Selena. Selena's face exploded. Joanna, what do you mean? You asked me to dinner, why did you bring her? Lily's face flushed with embarrassment, and she whispered anxiously, Sister Joanna, I'll go back first and won't disturb you. I sent your clothes to the dry cleaners for dry cleaning and put them in your car. Thank you for taking me out to play today. I'm leaving first. Me, is her time worthless? I took her out today and delayed her for a day, and she didn't dare to say a word, but she actually thanked me? I couldn't help wanting to bully her because she was so easy to bully. I said calmly, since you're here, let's play together. There seems to be some misunderstanding between you two. Let's take this opportunity to clarify it today. I walked in first without saying anything. Selena rolled her eyes at her and quickly came over to hold my arm to show her closeness to me and isolate Lily. Lily was obviously embarrassed to death, but she still came in. She's so well behaved. She's so well behaved that people feel malicious because bullying her can be foreseen without cost. I couldn't help but wonder what kind of family would discipline a girl to be so easy to bully. During the meal, Selena talked a lot. However, she ate the food and I turned the table. She took the tissue and I reached out to take it first. She had an empty cup, and Lily and I toasted. Selena finally realized that I was isolating her, and slammed the table. Joanna, what do you mean? If you want to break up with me, just say it directly. Why do you disgust me so much? Are you too sensitive? Don't care about these small details. I just turned the table to prevent you from getting the tissue and didn't clink glasses with you. Don't be so petty. You are targeting me on purpose. Don't think I can't see that you are suppressing me and venting her anger. Are you sick? We have known each other for so many years, and you treat me like this for someone you have only known for a few days. You like Ethan, so you suppress Lily. Coincidentally, I like Lily, so I suppress you. There is nothing wrong with this. Didn't I learn it from you? Selena was so angry that she held back a curse word for a long time, picked up her small bag, turned around and left. I said lightly, wait. Ask clearly first why she married Ethan. Sure enough, Selena was caught. She came back angrily, threw her small bag, and her whole body was unhappy. Now the pressure was on Lily. Facing our stern gazes, she was almost crying. I never thought of marrying him. Selena was completely furious. Lily, you're playing with me. The whole world knows that you two are going to get engaged. Now you're saying that you've never thought about marrying him? Are you showing off in front of me? Do you think I won't beat you up? Lily covered her face and started crying. But I've never even been in a relationship with him. Selena was shocked. I was shocked too. However, I do believe what Lily said. Because Ethan, who admires the powerful, would never deign to be in a relationship with a weak person. At most, he just regards Lily as a pet, someone he can order around, tame, control, and dote on. He would never give her the respect, understanding, support, and trust that a lover should have. I handed her a tissue and said, "Go ahead and tell me about it." Lily didn't know where to start. I simply asked her, "How did you meet?" Lily blushed. His company was giving a presentation at school, and I was responsible for the reception. Selena was furious. "So you shamelessly asked for his contact information?" "No, he asked for it, and I didn't give it to him." "You said it nicely, but didn't you add it in the end?" "I met a persistent person, and he saved me, and hey. A hero saving a beautiful woman." Selena was so jealous that she spoke sourly. This plot is quite melodramatic. However, combined with the dream I had, in which Ethan took Lily by force, I suspect that this hero saving a beautiful woman was arranged by Ethan himself. I looked at Selena. "Ethan liked me before, why aren't you so jealous of me? Why are you so jealous of Lily?" Selena was furious. "How can she compare with you? I admit defeat to you, but what is she? Except for a face that looks like you, how can she compare with you in other aspects?" I was also angry. "You know I am very good, and I also know I am very good. How can Ethan, that rubbish, be worthy of such a good person like me? I don't allow you to insult me with that kind of scum." Selena was a little confused. "What's wrong with Ethan? He is the best boy I know. He can manage the company as soon as he graduates. He looks good and has good abilities. How can he not be worthy of you?" I refuted loudly. "He keeps saying that he likes me. You know, others know it, but I don't know it. He has never done anything to pursue me. He has never confessed to me verbally, and he has never given me gifts on any holidays. I have been abroad for 3 years and he has never seen me. He just says that he doesn't like me. Shit, he made everyone think that I looked down on him and didn't agree to him, as if it was my fault. Now I am attending your party and being looked at by people with the eyes of a heartless man. But what did I do wrong? He ruined my reputation while making an identical substitute to disgust me. He deliberately brought Lily to my welcome party and bossed her around. What? He can't control me, so he is looking for the pleasure of conquering me through the substitute? Such a hypocritical, morally corrupt, low-quality, and low-character person. Why should a bad person like me? Why should he be liked by you? Being liked by him is the biggest shame of my life. Besides, the company was inherited from his parents, and the talents of the company were cultivated by his parents. After he took over, it happened to catch up with the trend, so it made a profit. He was just lucky, which does not mean that he is really capable. You can make money if such a company is given to you. It is not because you are not capable enough, but because your parents value sons over daughters and only regard you as a marriage partner. It does not mean that you are not capable." Selena was exhausted by my criticism. She was confused and murmured, I didn't know it was like this. I thought he did a lot for you, did a fart. Ethan, that bastard, only spoke with his mouth, and did nothing else." I was a little tired of criticizing people, so I drank a sip of tea and continued to put pressure on Lily. "It's your turn. What did Ethan do for you? Did he confess his love to you? Did he officially confirm the relationship with you? Did he take you to meet his parents? Did he introduce you to his friends? Did he make it official? Did he give you a gift to express his love?" I asked a question, and Lily answered, no. Several no-s in a row. She probably felt embarrassed, her eyes were red like rabbit eyes, and finally she cried and covered her face and said, no. Selena was furious. "He didn't do anything, and you just agreed to marry him casually? Are you sick?" Lily was scared and burst into tears. "My father was in the hospital, and he helped me pay 100,000 yuan for the hospitalization fee." Selena. Me. Bloody +2. For a moment, the three of them looked at each other. At the end, Selena hit the bag hard. 100,000 yuan, I just bought a bag, and I bought out your life? Why are you so cowardly? I'll give you 100,000 yuan, and you go slap him in the face. I don't dare, woo woo woo. Under our questioning, Lily honestly confessed everything about her and Ethan. The 100,000 yuan really bought her out. She had the intention of repaying Ethan, and Ethan really treated her as a nanny, a servant, and a bedwarming maid. When she was not in class, she went to clean the house for Ethan, serve tea and water, cook and wash pots. Later, when she was in class, Ethan also called her to ask why she didn't clean up the house, so she had to skip class to cook for Ethan and take care of him. Once, Ethan got drunk and threw her on the sofa, and she lost her virginity in a daze. Afterwards, Ethan looked cold and warned her, "Don't let anyone know about our relationship." However, it was also him who called Lily over to have dinner with friends. She was toasted and didn't dare to refuse. After getting drunk, Ethan asked her if she would drink from anyone who offered her a toast. Then he tormented her all night. She also had a miscarriage because Ethan didn't want it and asked her why she didn't use contraception. Now they are getting engaged because Ethan wants it and informed her. Selena was so angry that her head hurt. "You let him bully you like this? Where are your parents? Do they agree? Don't you care? My father said that we should be grateful. If we take his money, we should listen to his arrangements and not let others think we are ungrateful." Lily looked very confused, as if she didn't think her father was wrong, but she couldn't say what was wrong. Selena was silenced, but I felt that I had gained a lot. At least, Selena felt a little bit of empathy for Lily. I patted her shoulder. "Her father and your father are similar. They both regard marrying their daughters as a career. They both felt my ridicule and looked at me together." Selena looked at me with murderous eyes. Lily looked at me confused and aggrieved. I looked at Lily and moved on to the next topic. "I took you out for a day today. How do you feel?" Lily was a little stunned. She probably didn't expect that after running around with me for a day, she would have to tell me her experience. She said gratefully, "Sister Joanna, thank you for taking me out to see the world. This is something I have never seen before. From this perspective, it is right." A Cinderella was suddenly forcibly brought into the Golden Palace, feeling that she had gained knowledge and broadened her horizons. But this is too superficial. On a deeper level, it is not like this. I smiled. "But what's the use of this? You should have several classes today, right? Did you skip classes? You will be called by the teacher. You have skipped many classes for Ethan before. If you continue to skip classes now, can you still get the credits? Can you graduate smoothly? You sacrificed your studies and your future to have a meal with me, and I let you work for free for a day. In the end, you still thanked me. It's not a loss for me, but what do you want? The things I took you to see, you will be able to see them one day in the future when you have the ability. I just let you see them a few years in advance, but today you gave up your future in order to see these things in advance. If you don't come, then you may never see it in your life. From this perspective, you are at a loss. Besides, I took you out for dinner, but you obviously don't like Western food, but you just don't say it. If you keep silent like this, I won't thank you or sympathize with you. Instead, I will think you are easy to bully. I will bully you again next time, because bullying you is not cost-effective, and you will be grateful to me. Why not do it? I am already a person with high quality and correct values? In our circle. I have this idea, but I will restrain myself. Once you meet someone who doesn't restrain himself, you know your fate. You will be taken advantage of, and the other party will also put the blame on you, making you feel that everything is wrong. It's your own fault. Today I went to visit clients and negotiate business. If the contract is signed, I can make millions, but I didn't give you a penny. You served tea, took documents, smiled, and stood with me all day. You may think you have learned a lot, but have you seen it? The waiter at the door learns a lot every day, but it doesn't prevent him from being the same. If you don't spend your time and energy on improving yourself, you will be nailed to this position for the rest of your life. And meeting Selena, you obviously don't like her, but you don't even have the courage to stick to your own ideas. Anyone who is slightly stronger than you can easily control you. Selena and I are just acquaintances with you. We didn't even threaten or bribe you, we just stared at you, and you explained everything about yourself and Ethan clearly. You are in danger. You are as obedient as a rabbit. Selena and I are at most large herbivores. We won't do anything to you, but Ethan is a carnivorous ungrateful wolf. He will eat you up and complain that you don't have enough meat to fill the gaps between his teeth. With your ability to withstand pressure, how dare you get engaged to Ethan? Do you know Ethan's family situation? Do you know who are his family members? Do you know that no matter how hard you try, they will never accept you? Isn't that what happened in the dream? She worked hard like a snail girl, but in the end, she got the fate of Wang Baochuan. The person who enjoyed her flesh and blood and finally got a deep affectionate personality was Ethan. Speaking of Ethan's family, Selena got excited. Let me tell you, Ethan's mother is very snobbish. When we were in high school, Ethan's family invited us to celebrate Ethan's birthday. There were only 2 people in the class who didn't receive the invitation. One of them had a bankrupt family, and the other was a poor student specially recruited by the school. Ethan also has a sister. His sister was married to a wealthy family through a family marriage. His sister was abused by her family, but his parents refused to let their daughter divorce. Just because the other family is richer than theirs, your family is poor. If you really marry Ethan, you will upgrade from Ethan's personal nanny to Ethan's family nanny. They don't even love their own daughter, how can they love other people's daughters? Selena was smug, and Lily's face turned pale. I looked at her with an expression that looked like she was a fool. Selena couldn't laugh anymore. In such a shabby family, even dogs wouldn't enter. Why did I like Ethan so much? It's not all your fault. You like the Ethan in your imagination. He meets your expectations of a man. He is rich, handsome, and charming. He is even a little pitiful because he can't get the white moonlight in your heart, which arouses your maternal love. I analyzed it seriously, but in fact, Ethan can't bear your expectations. He is selfish, ignores and oppresses the weak, regards women as playthings, and tramples on women's dignity to find and strengthen his own male dignity. Do you know what this is called? Afterwards, Ethan looked cold and warned her, "Don't let anyone know about our relationship." However, it was also him who called Lily over to have dinner with friends. She was toasted and didn't dare to refuse. After getting drunk, Ethan asked her if she would drink from anyone who offered her a toast. Then he tormented her all night. She also had a miscarriage because Ethan didn't want it and asked her why she didn't use contraception. Now they are getting engaged because Ethan wants it and informed her. Selena was so angry that her head hurt. You let him bully you like this? Where are your parents? Do they agree? Don't you care? My father said that we should be grateful. If we take his money, we should listen to his arrangements and not let others think we are ungrateful. Lily looked very confused, as if she didn't think her father was wrong, but she couldn't say what was wrong. Selena was silenced, but I felt that I had gained a lot. At least, Selena felt a little bit of empathy for Lily. I patted her shoulder. Her father and your father are similar. They both regard marrying their daughters as a career. They both felt my ridicule and looked at me together. Selena looked at me with murderous eyes. Lily looked at me confused and aggrieved. I looked at Lily and moved on to the next topic. I took you out for a day today. How do you feel? Lily was a little stunned. She probably didn't expect that after running around with me for a day, she would have to tell me her experience. She said gratefully, "Sister Joanna, thank you for taking me out to see the world. This is something I have never seen before. From this perspective, it is right." A Cinderella was suddenly forcibly brought into the Golden Palace, feeling that she had gained knowledge and broadened her horizons. But this is too superficial. On a deeper level, it is not like this. I smiled. But what's the use of this? You should have several classes today, right? Did you skip classes? You will be called by the teacher. You have skipped many classes for Ethan before. If you continue to skip classes now, can you still get the credits? Can you graduate smoothly? You sacrificed your studies and your future to have a meal with me, and I let you work for free for a day. In the end, you still thanked me. It's not a loss for me, but what do you want? The things I took you to see, you will be able to see them one day in the future when you have the ability. I just let you see them a few years in advance, but today you gave up your future in order to see these things in advance. If you don't come, then you may never see it in your life. From this perspective, you are at a loss. Besides, I took you out for dinner, but you obviously don't like Western food, but you just don't say it. If you keep silent like this, I won't thank you or sympathize with you. Instead, I will think you are easy to bully. I will bully you again next time, because bullying you is not cost-effective, and you will be grateful to me. Why not do it? I am already a person with high quality and correct values? In our circle. I have this idea, but I will restrain myself. Once you meet someone who doesn't restrain himself, you know your fate. You will be taken advantage of, and the other party will also put the blame on you, making you feel that everything is wrong. It's your own fault. Today I went to visit clients and negotiate business. If the contract is signed, I can make millions, but I didn't give you a penny. You served tea, took documents, smiled, and stood with me all day. You may think you have learned a lot, but have you seen it? The waiter at the door learns a lot every day, but it doesn't prevent him from being the same. If you don't spend your time and energy on improving yourself, you will be nailed to this position for the rest of your life. And meeting Selena, you obviously don't like her, but you don't even have the courage to stick to your own ideas. Anyone who is slightly stronger than you can easily control you. Selena and I are just acquaintances with you. We didn't even threaten or bribe you, we just stared at you, and you explained everything about yourself and Ethan clearly. You are in danger. You are as obedient as a rabbit. Selena and I are at most large herbivores. We won't do anything to you, but Ethan is a carnivorous ungrateful wolf. He will eat you up and complain that you don't have enough meat to fill the gaps between his teeth. With your ability to withstand pressure, how dare you get engaged to Ethan? Do you know Ethan's family situation? Do you know who are his family members? Do you know that no matter how hard you try, they will never accept you? Isn't that what happened in the dream? She worked hard like a snail girl, but in the end, she got the fate of Wang Baochuan. The person who enjoyed her flesh and blood and finally got a deep affectionate personality was Ethan. Speaking of Ethan's family, Selena got excited. Let me tell you, Ethan's mother is very snobbish. When we were in high school, Ethan's family invited us to celebrate Ethan's birthday. There were only 2 people in the class who didn't receive the invitation. One of them had a bankrupt family, and the other was a poor student specially recruited by the school. Ethan also has a sister. His sister was married to a wealthy family through a family marriage. His sister was abused by her family, but his parents refused to let their daughter divorce. Just because the other family is richer than theirs, your family is poor. If you really marry Ethan, you will upgrade from Ethan's personal nanny to Ethan's family nanny. They don't even love their own daughter, how can they love other people's daughters? Selena was smug, and Lily's face turned pale. I looked at her with an expression that looked like she was a fool. Selena couldn't laugh anymore. In such a shabby family, even dogs wouldn't enter. Why did I like Ethan so much? It's not all your fault. You like the Ethan in your imagination. He meets your expectations of a man. He is rich, handsome, and charming. He is even a little pitiful because he can't get the white moonlight in your heart, which arouses your maternal love. I analyzed it seriously, but in fact, Ethan can't bear your expectations. He is selfish, ignores and oppresses the weak, regards women as playthings, and tramples on women's dignity to find and strengthen his own male dignity. Do you know what this is called? However, Lily broke off the engagement. Lily borrowed 100,000 yuan from me, returned the money to Ethan, blocked Ethan, lived in school and didn't go out, and concentrated on her studies. Her father was reluctant to part with Ethan as his son-in-law, and cursed Lily for not knowing how to enjoy life, and for being born with a lowly fate, and not being able to handle the overwhelming wealth. He personally came to the school and forced Lily to drop out and get married. Lily went crazy, she pointed a knife at her face and rebelled against her father. Do you know what Ethan thinks of me? A substitute. He only helps me because my face looks like others. Without this face, I am nothing. You want to marry Ethan, you have plastic surgery to look like me, and Ethan will still marry you. If you force me again, I will scratch this face and borrow 10 million high-interest loans. I will make you unable to enjoy my blessings in this life, and you can only suffer my hardships. The school was terrified and forced his father to leave, and took turns to do ideological work on Lily, telling her not to think too much. He also said that now as a society ruled by law, no one can force a woman to marry against her will, and if necessary, the school will provide legal assistance. Lily decisively accepted legal aid and prepared to sue Ethan for money. She worked diligently as a nanny for Ethan for 3 years, but Ethan didn't give her a penny. She felt that she had lost a lot. I was overjoyed when I heard the news. Selena was also very happy. She said that she hadn't seen Ethan so embarrassed for a long time. You don't know, I attended a banquet last time and saw him and his mother quarreling in private. When he saw me, his face was as black as the bottom of a pot. His mother ran out to show her goodwill to me and asked me when I would come to her house. His mother used to be so snobbish. She thought her son was the best in the world and looked down on this and that. As a result, her son's reputation has been ruined and he has been ridiculed and despised by others. But she is trying to please me. Am I a cheap person? You throw all the garbage to me. TSK Ethan's mother also called me, but she came to argue for Ethan and slander me by the way. I recorded the conversation on my phone and asked someone to send it to Ethan. He then settled down and never harassed me again. However, the friend I asked to pass the message on also broke up with Ethan after listening to the recording. People, it's really hard to live with what they have done. Selena was full of energy, her son is a failure in her hands. If she wants to get married in the future, it will be difficult to get married in the circle of wealthy families. Am I a little bad? Why do I want to laugh so much? Don't waste your energy. Laugh when you should laugh. Laugh more and you will have good fortune. Joanna, why didn't I realize that you are suitable to be a fortune teller before? Blame the sky, the earth, and others, but don't blame me. I really like you. Lily also likes me. I also helped her in the lawsuit. She successfully got nearly 300,000 yuan in salary from Ethan. She returned 100,000 yuan to me and bought me a gift. We agreed to meet in a cafe. She looked refreshed, with a thriving vitality, completely different from the timid and trembling look a few months ago. As expected, Ethan defeated her. Staying away from Ethan, even going against him, her spirit and energy returned immediately. I am the same. My career is booming now, and my parents want to retire early and hand over the company to me. Lily laughed and said, I never dreamed that I could get back nearly 300,000 yuan in salary. I used to look down on myself, thinking that 10 yuan was an astronomical figure, a favor that I could never repay in my lifetime, but I can earn back 300,000 yuan with my own ability. I thought I was repaying my gratitude by working hard, but in fact he didn't treat me as a human being at all, but thought I was very convenient. It's funny, I worked without regrets, but he looked down on me. I asked him for money to collect the debt, but he talked to me nicely and told me not to make trouble. Human nature is so evil. She had many feelings, I listened carefully, and raised my glass to congratulate her. Congratulations, you will be smooth sailing after you pass the big hurdle of 20 years old. She held the glass with both hands and toasted me seriously. Sister Joanna, thank you. You are my benefactor. If I hadn't met you, I would have ended up in a terrible situation. My parents don't love me, but I expect others to love me and want to find my self-worth from others. That's like putting yourself under the knife of others and expecting them to be slower. It's really pathetic. Thank goodness you woke me up. From now on, I will follow your example and be an independent and self-respecting person. I toast you. I raised my cup and took a sip of coffee and asked her what her plans were for the future. She was about to graduate and was looking for an internship. I asked her to work with me and be my secretary. Lily was overjoyed. Sister Joanna, can I do it well? I smiled but said nothing. Lily responded cleverly, Sister Joanna, I will definitely do a good job. If I don't do well, please give me more advice. I will definitely listen to your advice. I asked someone to take Lily. I think if this story has Lily as the heroine, then she must have something special, and it would be a good thing to take her under my wing. Sure enough, Lily did not disappoint me. She has something in her head. Soon, she successfully became a member of my secretarial team and became the most outstanding one among them. With her, I feel that things are going much more smoothly, but Ethan's side is not so smooth. I heard that Ethan's sister is preparing to divorce her brother-in-law, and Ethan's family is a little worried because of that. And Ethan's parents stood on the side of their son-in-law and persuaded his sister to give up the divorce for the sake of the children, and the family was in chaos. I met Ethan at a business conference. His whole complexion was much darker. We exchanged glances and then looked away. After the meeting, he stopped me. There is a misunderstanding between us. I want to talk to you. Lily immediately stood in front of me. President Ethan, if you want to see President Joanna, please make an appointment with me. Lily? Ethan finally saw Lily clearly and was shocked. Lily has changed a lot during this period. She has blossomed from the inside out and showed her unique charm. Even if we stand together, no one will confuse her with me. She said calmly, yes, President Ethan, if you want to see President Joanna, you need to make an appointment in advance. President Joanna will meet you if she is free. Ethan was choked. He frowned and did not respond to her. Instead, he said to me, it won't delay me for a few minutes. He still looked down on Lily. After all, Lily was a woman he conquered and played with before, and he couldn't respect her all of a sudden, but I don't spoil him. I said lightly, make an appointment with Lily's secretary. I turned and left without any nostalgia. Ethan was angry. Joanna, I only made a mistake once, and you are so vindictive? Me? See, you can't wake up a person who pretends to sleep. He just wanted to irritate me and make me respond to him right now. He wanted nothing. I treated him like air and walked away nonchalantly. He had to talk to Lily. Lily looked at her watch, picked up the documents and followed me, and made a phone call. President Joanna, this is over, drive the car to the door. Yes, the schedule is very tight later. Ethan left angrily. In the car, Lily laughed out loud. Sister Joanna, his helpless and furious look is really funny. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but I can't help it. Laugh when you should laugh, holding back will hurt your Tau heart. We laughed out loud together, tears flying out. But strangely enough, things went exceptionally smoothly that day, and the order was signed smoothly. Looking back, he probably knew that I wanted to sign the order, and deliberately came to my house to deliver performance. Thank you. A month later, I didn't see Ethan, but I met Ethan's sister Claire first. She came to my house, wrapped in a headscarf and wearing sunglasses, more tightly wrapped than a female star. I wanted to refuse to see any of Ethan's family, but after she took off her sunglasses, I couldn't say no. Her eyes were purple under her sunglasses, and her eyes were dull, filled with despair and numbness. I thought that if I refused her, it would probably be the last straw that pushed her to death. I invited her in, and Lily served tea. She took off her headscarf and mask, showing all her wounds. Lily and I were shocked. She laughed at herself. I know that my behavior of coming to your house is despicable, but I really have nowhere else to go. My daughter is only 3 years old. For her, I can only be despicable once. Drink some water and talk slowly. Please help me persuade Ethan to convince my parents to agree to my divorce. If your parents don't agree, you can also divorce yourself. My husband refuses to give me custody of Nyo. He is unwilling to give it to me even if I leave the house with nothing, unless my parents can help me. But now my parents have taken his money to run the company for Ethan. Nyo has no way to survive if she is left at their house. I know a little about Ethan's family. It is no secret that Claire was abused, but Ethan's family took the benefits and no one stood up for her. At most, they asked Claire's husband not to hit her in the face and save some face. Now because Claire wants a divorce, they probably don't even want to save face and directly hit Ethan's family in the face. It's ridiculous that Ethan's family actually endured it for the money. That's right, it turns out that they were not the ones who were beaten, but I remember that in the dream, Claire didn't seem to get divorced. She was still the rich lady, seemingly glamorous on the surface, but in fact, she knelt down to wash her mother-in-law's feet behind her back. Why do you want to get divorced? Claire was confused for a moment, especially like Lily in the past. Suddenly I want to change. I feel that I shouldn't live like this. I am the one who loses in this marriage, but my parents and Ethan are the ones who benefit. There is no such good thing in the world. Great. Just for this reason, I will help, but why should Ethan listen to me? You know, we are in a very bad relationship now, and we don't have any contact with each other. If he knows that I help you, he might even go against you. He has a diary full of you. I think he will listen to you. If he doesn't listen, I will think of other ways. In this case, let's try. But I won't take the initiative to meet Ethan, because that would make me look cheap, and then he will be arrogant again. I found out that Ethan will attend a dinner party. I also showed up there, and specially asked someone to arrange me and Ethan at the next table. He would definitely get angry when he saw me chatting and laughing with others, but couldn't touch me. Sure enough, he stopped me again, and cleverly asked his secretary to hold Lily. He knew how to write the words robbery, but I don't know if he has memorized the criminal law. I nodded to Lily, signaling her to be patient, and then found a secluded place to sit down and talk to Ethan. Ethan seemed to have found a little initiative, and said lightly, "It's really hard to see you." I said I would make an appointment with my secretary, but it's President Ethan who can't lower his arrogance. This is your own problem. Where did I offend you? Apart from the welcoming party and the phone call with my mother, I didn't offend you. Don't you think what you did to me is too much? Ethan, you really don't know where you are wrong? I smiled, mocking sincerely. He was a little flustered, but still said in a deep voice, "I heard you say that I ignore the weak and look down on women. I admit that I do a little, but I don't think it's a big problem. Okay. I think it is necessary to give him a lesson in ideological education. Then let me ask you, you like me to make it known to everyone, but I am the only one who doesn't know." At the welcoming banquet after returning to China, everyone looked at me with such eyes, obviously thinking that I enjoyed your pursuit and didn't respond to you. I deliberately kept you hanging. I want to ask, who gave them this illusion? It was you or me? Ethan's face turned pale, but he still tried to defend himself. I didn't let them think so, they saw it themselves. Then why didn't I see it? You didn't dare to show yourself in front of me, hiding your emotions tightly, but you were bold and unrestrained in front of our mutual friends, like a flood, and you released all your feelings for me to others. Didn't you deliberately and maliciously guide them to think that you were affectionate and loyal, and I was ungrateful? I'm sorry, but I didn't think so. You didn't want to, you just did it. I blasted hard. Ethan was embarrassed. Since you've said it, just make it clear, how else have I offended you? What's the matter with a substitute? What's the matter with finding someone who looks like me? What's the matter with using her like a nanny? You can't pull me down from the altar, so you find a substitute to humiliate me. Are you humiliating her or me? Ethan, you make me feel sick. My eyes were cold, and I couldn't hide my disgust. Ethan's lips turned pale. I won't do this to you. You are different to me. You haven't done it to me yet, not because you don't want to, but because you don't have the ability. I am the daughter of Joanna's family. I am rich, pretty, capable and have a backer. If one day, I fall into poverty and ask you for help, I can be sure that not only will you not help me, but you will abuse me in the same way. What men like to do most is to drag decent women into the water and persuade prostitutes to change their ways. It is the bad roots in your bones to destroy beautiful things into something you can trample on at will. Do you dare to say that you don't get pleasure from abusing Lily? Do you dare to admit it? Ethan was stunned. He didn't speak. Obviously he was questioning his conscience. I waited for him to think slowly. After a long time, there was a struggle in his eyes. No matter what you think, I did really like you. I also thought about doing something for you, but I didn't think I was worthy, so I didn't act. I sneered. It's really cheap. Compared to women who are stronger than him, he regards them as saints and brags about them. Compared to women who are weaker than him, he regards them as sluts and insults them wantonly. Is he afraid to act because he doesn't want to? Because pursuing me requires him to give up most of Ethan's family property in exchange for my return glance. But pursuing Lily only requires 100,000 yuan, and he doesn't have to spend any feelings, time, or energy at all, and he can get full emotional value. He is smart in this regard. But I don't want to discuss this issue with him in depth. I want to control the rhythm and lead him into the topic I want to talk about. Okay, even if you really like me, then let me ask you, how dare you have a family like yours to covet me? What's wrong with my family? He still protects his parents very much, and he got anxious when he heard what I said. But I just looked at him with a mocking look on my face, and he suddenly became cold and wilted again. I said calmly, I heard that your sister's divorce lawsuit took so long. How come Ethan is so rich and powerful that he can't afford a divorce lawsuit? Didn't you suck enough blood from your sister at that time? Are you going to suck your sister to death? Don't talk nonsense. My sister and my brother-in-law are still in love. Ethan scolded. I slapped him in the face. What do you feel? He looked at me in astonishment, then his eyes darkened and his face was full of anger. Do you still like me? I mocked. He didn't say anything. I continued, Ethan, your feelings for me are so fake. I just slapped you once, and you have no feelings for me. Your sister has been abused so many times, why do you think they still have feelings for each other? Or are you Ethan's family born to be mean, and you will have feelings for each other no matter how you are beaten? Then you should not hate me anymore? Let me slap you again. I hit him, and he grabbed my wrist and said angrily, Joanna, stop it. I looked at him with a smile. Ethan, admit it, you are a vampire who sucks blood from your sister. Your Ethan family sells daughters for resources. As long as you give money, your Ethan family can be beaten at will. What's so high and mighty about a family like you who can sell self-esteem for money? You make yourself look like a rich family. You may not know that your family is already a joke in the circle. I got up and left. Lily and I walked for a long time and found that he was still sitting in his seat, holding his hair with his hands. At first glance, his face was full of worries. A month later, Claire successfully divorced and obtained custody of Nyo Nyo. She handled the procedures for going abroad as quickly as possible and planned not to come back. Before boarding the plane, she sent me a long message to express her gratitude. I'm sorry that I can't thank you in person. Now they are all staring at me. Being too close to you will affect you, but I really thank you. You are the lifesaver of Nyo Nyo and me. You may not know that if you didn't help me that day, I was going to jump off the building with Nyo Nyo. You gave me the courage to live. You asked me why I didn't want to live that day. I think it might be because I saw you helped Lily win the lawsuit. During that time, my parents cursed you every day, but I was very excited. I thought, I finally found someone to restrain them. I thought, since you can help Lily, compared to you will definitely help me. I won the bet, Joanna, thank you, you made me feel that I should stand up, not only for myself, but also for Nyo Nyo. You are my role model, and I want to live as a role model for my daughter. I am leaving here and will never come back. This phone will also be deactivated, but I will tell Nyo Nyo what you have done for us. In addition, I hired someone to beat Ethan up, which is a way to vent my anger for my past self, Lily and you. Goodbye, Joanna. I wish you all the best, and we all the best. I looked out the window and felt very happy. Thinking about Ethan's helpless and furious look after being beaten, I laughed even happier. The most important thing is that Claire divorced, her ex-husband withdrew his investment from Ethan's family, and Ethan's family is now going downhill. This is a good start, and I deserve it. A year later, Lily and I went to Selena's wedding. She married her childhood friend, and the two of them smiled sweetly at the wedding. At the wedding banquet, I saw Ethan. I asked Selena if she had broken up with Ethan. Why invite him? Selena smiled and said, let him see how well I married, so that he won't always think that all women in the world should revolve around him. You see, he is so miserable now. He is not as good as I thought. He relies on his sister and family. You see, after his sister left, he didn't have a lot of money to burn. I heard that Ethan's family is almost in trouble now. I glanced at Ethan from a distance. He saw me, nodded politely, and looked away. Not long after, he left quietly, completely different from his arrogant appearance when he was the protagonist of the crowd before. Money is people's courage, it has been since ancient times, so, I have to hold on to my career and not let go. The wedding was over and we left. Lily asked me where I was going. I said I was going back to the company. She wailed, you are a capitalist, but you are still so greedy. Do you still give people a way to live? I smiled and said, I heard that you bought a house. Have you paid off the mortgage? Lily, you are so cruel. She got in the car obediently and worked overtime with me. When we got off work, she took my arm and suddenly said, Joanna, thank you. I smiled. When I got home, I received a message from her on my phone, good night, my light. There is a sentence in Sapiens, a brief history of humankind, if I had never seen the sun, I could have endured the darkness. I think I am her light. I illuminated her darkness. And what I have to do is to continue to be a beam of light. Not only to illuminate others, but also to illuminate the road under my feet.